On this episode, James and I discuss the process of releasing, of letting go. We know that being alone, dealing with your own stresses, can all take a toll on your well being. And the stressful events of life, they come and go and circulate in and out. But truthfully, there are some persons, some places and some things that are keeping us bound that we essentially need to let go of. So in this episode, let's explore those challenges together. Whether we agree or disagree, let's just all agree on the fact that some things we have to let go of. Now let's get into the episode.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Heart check one, two, one. I'm locked in. I am locked in. I am locked in.
Yeah.
Heart check 1 2 1 2.
You're now tuned into Led from the Heart podcast. I'm James.
And I'm Jessica.
When it comes to the matters of the heart, everyone has an opinion, but very few have the answer.
That's why we curated this podcast. It's time to elevate the narrative one story at a time.
So each week, we'll take an inclusive, unbiased look at matters of the heart. We'll be speaking our truth into a world that is seldomly mentioned among the Black community, growing through healing, trauma, marriage, love, and spirituality.
Pull up on us and get ready for a heart check.
Peace.
Good evening, baby. How are you tonight?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well. Despite everything that seems to be going on amidst the news right now, I'm doing well.
Oh, I might have missed it. I was watching the game, so I don't know what happened in the news.
The Buffalo Massacre, and you had a recent church shooting in California, and then the shortage on baby formula. I mean, it's like the list constantly. It's just always continuing. It goes on and on.
Yeah, that's sad.
Sometimes I think we can get so isolated in our thoughts and in our own world and life and what we have going on that we can forget that everyone has their set of problems that they're dealing with. Everyone has stresses. Everyone has mental, spiritual, emotionally, physical barriers and hurdles that they're steadily trying to overcome.
Right.
And so today, I think all of this is befitting for our topic moving forward, because truth be told, some of us are really holding on to some things that we should have let go years ago. And it's hindering our ability and the capacity of what our gifts, well, shall I say it like this, the capacity of our gifts. Yeah, let's say the capacity of our gifts. Like we're limiting. We're putting a halt on things that we can do, places we can go because of some of the things that we're still holding on to. And so today is about moving forward. You know, I came across one of your old sermons that you preached, and I was like, ooh, when you start talking about the law of release. And then only to confirm everything that we were talking about initially. I don't know if any of you watch this show called Billionaires. Actually, no. Rewind. It's not even Billionaires. That just shows you I don't watch it. Billions. Right, babe?
Correct.
And that's an episode that I think you're like on season 3 or something.
I am.
But you have went back to season 1 because you missed something.
Yeah. I just missed out on why he became Alex Axel became the public enemy number one. So I needed to go back to understand why, and it's dealing with stock, and he manipulated a particular company that had big shares, and whatever he did to manipulate that company, people start pulling away from him. Stock went down, shares went down, and so he steps in, he saves them, and becomes a billionaire. Yeah, and it was all like a ploy. And the attorney, his wife is a psychiatrist, and she works for him, and so it's like if you get a chance to watch it, you have the attorney, district attorney. Well, he was running to become district attorney, but you have this attorney who's standing for justice and righteousness, right? And then you have this billionaire stock broker. I don't know his stockbroker, but he's the CEO of some company that just deals with stock. And he has a background where he comes from nothing, and from there he becomes a billionaire, a successful man. He was dirt poor, and now he's a billionaire. And how he rose to the top was like, in certain folk eyes in America, it was wrong, right? But then as you watch it, if you're not careful, you'll find yourself rooting for him, right? Because you kind of understand what's going on, but then everybody's playing this game, and the attorney, his wife is a psychiatrist, and she works for the Axel company, and she's like his mentor, his psychiatrist who tries to keep him on the straight and narrow. But then her husband is jealous of the power that Axel has over her, because whatever he needs her to, but that's how he perceives it. He sees that he's a billionaire, and he gets my wife to do this, he gets my wife to do that, and I can hardly get my wife, and it becomes a a game, right? It becomes I don't know. You kind of threw me off with.
I just need you to keep talking. I was just doing a quick promo pit.
I mean, kind of. I had to check myself out. That was like, yeah, he here right now. Come look at him. Look at him. He here. But yeah. You know what? You threw me off. I don't even know what we're talking about.
Well, it's okay. You were somehow giving us the whole synopsis behind Billions, but although I didn't need you to, but it was good promo. Somebody might be like, you know what? I'm gonna go watch that.
No, it's a lot of nuggets in there.
But if you would have never went back to season 1, which you guys the other day, I was like, babe, why are we watching this? I've already seen it. You've been playing it before. He's like, what comes next? Y'all, I couldn't tell him what came next, but what I knew is that I felt like I'd seen it before.
You was talking about season 3. Everything you talked about.
Okay, so I was ahead of the game.
To season 3.
But in doing so today, with him going back to season 1, while he was napping, I was able to capture this probably minute-long conversation between Axel and his wife, and I was like, ooh, I gotta play that clip for this episode for others to be able to hear exactly what
the name
I
of
heard.
the company is Axel. His name is Alex.
His name's what?
Alex.
Alex. Well, here's the clip real quick. You guys, this is on episode 9 of season 1.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch it till I fell asleep on it.
Yeah, listen to this.
Sorry, I was at the restaurant. Some decisions.
You shuttered it.
I'm selling the farm, too.
Why didn't you tell me?
I'm telling you now.
We could have held on. The restaurant and the farm.
How?
By not letting go? I don't give a shit if people didn't show up for 10 years. People forget. Things change. We could have fought.
This is me fighting. I come from a long line of scrappers. We learn to get rid of our weaknesses so we can fight better.
That's it, you guys. I like that as she came into the room and she started to take off her boots and they began to have a conversation, brief conversation about the day, that he said to her, like, why are you just telling me now? Like, why didn't you tell me? And she said, I just told you, I'm selling the farm. And he's like, well, you could have came to me. We could have held on. And she said, how? And he said, by not letting go. And he said, I don't care. We could have held on for 10 years. Even if people didn't come, it wouldn't have mattered. People forget. Time changes. I think people move on, right? And then she's like, listen, I've come from a long line of scrappers. This is me fighting right here. And in his eyes, fighting was holding on. But in her eyes, fighting was letting go.
I agree.
It almost like boils it down when I look at this clip, just from this particular clip, and analyze this. I see two types of people: those who consider fighting as a method of holding on,
Mm-hmm.
and those who consider fighting as a method of letting go.
Mm-hmm.
And so my question to you, the listeners, is what kind of fighter are you? Are you one who holds on, or are you one who lets go? What would you think, Bay?
But first of all, I believe you need to understand the background of both characters in the movie. Like I said, he came up dirt poor and had to fight to get everything he has, and the mindset of those who come up without is a mindset that says everything that I get a hold of, I got to keep it.
Mm-hmm.
They begin to hoard everything. Right. And so because they came up with very little, and everything that they get a hold of, they want to seize it, they want to keep it, because it's a reminder of what they have accomplished, and they honor it. It becomes a trophy. And even when it stops working, even when it's too small, even when you gain so much weight until you can't, you never gonna get back into that dress again. Why do you have it? Why do you have your wedding dress? It's just clogging up the space in your closet. Get rid of that stuff. But that's what certain people do. No matter how successful they become, they keep everything because it's a reminder, because they remember more so of when they didn't have, right?
Right.
And then you have his wife, who came up privileged. You play with that toy 3 or 4 times, and it's time for a new one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, plenty shoes, plenty clothes. You know, you've had cars. These things, they don't move you. They don't they're just things. You don't, those things don't cloud your vision, and you're not to the point where you're willing to mistreat, misuse, or manipulate whoever to get ahead, right? Versus and now there are some who are just, they have it all and still spoil and still want it all, and ungrateful. We had a former president who was who was just like that. But for the common people, and I don't know, I'm throwing something out there, but like you look at like LeBron James, right? LeBron James had to scrap for everything.
Yeah.
Right. But his kids, they just ride the wave of being a part of the James family. Right. So at the age of 16, you'll get a Mercedes AMG or Rolls Royce. Those things don't move you. You're like, oh, okay. Oh, you got a chain? I had a chain like that when I was 6 years old.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so the mindset of these kids, of that particular person or that family, is like, man, you spent all that money on that chain. I could have taken that chain and bought like 4 properties or Burger King franchise, like 18 different franchises of Burger King, or win. You know what I'm saying? That's the mindset of those individuals versus someone who came up dirt poor. They feel as if they have to have what the world deems to be cool or of high value. Louis Vuitton, Gucci. Like, why you got a Gucci belt and you work at a factory? You got a factory job and you got red bottoms on, my nigga. That doesn't even
just want the little bit of the finer things in life.
But but now they've placed a value. They placed the value of material on a thing.
Yeah.
And you getting up working every day hard to get that. Like, I mean, I get it. You want it.
Yeah.
I get it. You want to drive it. Right? But I believe that you have to have some principles, some priorities established. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, and not to, I feel like we're getting off a little bit. Are we on? Because we're talking about letting it go. Letting.
But you were giving us the background or the backdrop of their lives as to why Alex, he himself felt as if fighting would be holding on, and why his wife, which I cannot recall her name at this time, she thought fighting was letting go.
Okay. Right.
So, and I asked you a question. Which of the two would you say that you were?
Both.
I thought myself as both too.
Both. Yeah, both.
I'm probably more of a person that holds on than letting go, but there are situations and times in my life where it's more easier, it's more simple for me to let go. And then other times it's more of a challenge for me to let go.
And I believe that those that have a hard time letting go are those individuals who know or who have allowed others or themselves to sabotage their own gifts. And so what I'm saying is they have allowed others or themselves mentally to be in their own way, where, I got to hold on to this because I don't see myself recovering, or I can't. This is the best I've ever had. This is the best job I've ever had. This is the best position I've ever had. This is the most money I've ever made. I got to hold on to this. I'll do whatever it takes. I'll sing. I'll tap dance. Whatever you want me to do. And you get away from your own principles, your own morals, your own beliefs. You get away from, who you are, trying to fit into a box, or you find yourself getting out of who you are, trying to hold on instead of just letting it go. Like, I believe that the best fighter, as my girl says, are those that let go. Those that, because if I'm constantly holding on to it, where am I going? If we had the lyrics to Erykah Badu, Bag Lady, you will hear Erica say, I'm a karaoke, I'm a lyricist. You don't have to pull up anything. Bag Lady. I knew you at one point you was gonna come in.
Listen, you gonna hurt your bag. Carrying all those bags.
Like you gotta finish it. Now you're doodling. Pull it. Let me pull it up. Pull it up.
He didn't need the lyrics, though, y'all.
Pull it up. No, but I don't need the lyrics. But I'm not about to sit here and play games with you.
Okay. Bag Lady.
Yeah.
You gonna hurt your back.
Right.
What? Dragging.
See, you said carrying. You can't carry it. Like, think about the brother who for 38 years laid down in the bed. He was holding on to past hurt, fighting, and Jesus says, do you want to be, do you want to walk? Do you want to be made whole? And he gives him the assurance that you can carry that. And how can I carry it? By simply letting it go. Letting it go.
It's such a paradox.
Yeah, because you think about certain people who have betrayed you, certain people who have done you wrong, stabbed you in your back. It's hard to move on from that. It's hard because naturally the flesh wants revenge.
Right.
And you want the revenge that you want. You want them to go down the way you want them to go down. And you are constantly sitting yourself through that cycle over and over and over and over and over again. And you end up hurting your back, dragging all of those bags like that. Dragging those bags. Dragging all of that weight. What Erica say, one day, all them bags gonna get in your way. Do you think about, listen, go back. I want to show you something. One day, all them bags gonna get in your way. She said it again. One day, all them bags gonna get in your way. I said, because she said, y'all didn't hear me. I said, one day, all them bags gonna get in your way.
That's my Erica voice.
One day. Look how many times she repeating it.
4 times.
All right, now, you think about Will Smith and what happened with him and Chris. He allowed those bags he's been dragging to get in his way. And he's dragging it. He's dragging those bags, and all of a sudden, the straps have become weary, and he snapped, and all his garbage, all his bag, everything in the bag, all his trash, it was aired out.
For the world to see.
It was aired out. It was aired out. And so, how many times have you allowed your bags, your trash, your hurt, your insecurities, your refusal to forgive, you know, your refusal to trust, your refusal to believe? How many times have you allowed those bags to get in your way? All because you're trying to fight while holding on.
You know, I get it for some people.
Yeah.
They hold on because, listen, I've put in 25 years on the job, and that time is of value, time that I'll never get back. And to think about the process of starting over, they like, I don't have 25 more years to give. So what do? They compromise. They settle. They'll stay in that position that undervalues them for the simple fact of the fear that comes with starting over, the fear of lost time. Think about relationships as well. Somebody who's been dedicated to a relationship all through as soon as they got out of high school, got this guy all through the 20s, all through the 40s. Now you in your 50s, you in your 60s, there's still no ring on it. Or it is, but this relationship still is not where you want it to be. So you just stick it out. Now you got a few kids by this guy. Starting over, like, I want love. I want that relationship. But who's going to want me after this? So they stick in it. They hold on in hopes that something would change. Listen, he said we could have held on for, it don't matter if nobody came for 10 years. He was betting on the fact that I know people forget. I know they change. I know circumstances change. But she's looking at it like, I don't want to hold on for 10 years.
And that's my point.
Yeah.
Because he came up with nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so he knows how to cope with nothing.
Yeah.
And she doesn't. But she understands how to gain. And in order to gain,
yeah,
you have to lose.
You brought up something. You said the best fighters are those who let go. You triggered me to pull up another clip. It seems like we're referencing movies and songs today. This is good. By Rocky Balboa. And it's this specific clip that I've referenced several times before. But it's even better so now that we're talking about letting go, right? So here, I want you to listen to this. It's only 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Believe in you? Welcome to my world, buddy. Rocco, nobody's giving you no title shot.
I know that. I don't want one.
So this isn't a mental disturbance?
No.
You're mad because they took down your statue?
No. Not really, no.
If it's about money, just hang a sign around your neck saying, punch me. $5, you'll make big money. What? You haven't peaked yet?
Peaked?
Yeah, peaked.
I don't know. There's still some stuff in the basement.
What basement?
In here.
Tell me about the stuff.
What about it?
Tell me about the stuff inside. Is it angry?
Angry?
Are you mad because Adrian left you?
She didn't leave, Paul. She died.
Okay.
You know, sometimes it's hard to breathe. You know, I feel like this beast inside me.
It's okay, Rocco. Please, it's okay.
Is it okay? I just never knew it was supposed to be this hard. It wasn't supposed to be like this, Paul, you know.
What I like about this clip that I just gave you to reference is that he came to Paulie, and Paulie was going through like series of things, just asking him, and Rocky broke down. And this is after, not that I've seen all the movies or anything, but I did my research on this episode, particularly when I found it, that he lost his wife, and he's trying to cope in the loss of his wife, Adrian, who he valued, he loved, he spent so much time with, he would do anything for. And now that she's not there, he doesn't know how to handle these emotions. This guy who's one of the greatest fighters in this, in this movie, in the world, and here he is unable to fight the very thing within him. And he's saying, it's the stuff in the basement. And Polly's like, what basement? He looks around like, I don't see no basement around here. And he's signaling the inward parts in him. He's like, so tell me about it. Is it anger? And so he's now, these emotions that he's bottled up and kept tucked away inside, and he's dealing with this internal conflict of emotions that seems to collide with one another. And he's the anger, the grief, all of this stuff, and he's having a hard time letting this go. Because his wife has now died and she's no longer. So when you said that the best fighters are those that let go, here it is in the movie. I know this is a movie. This man who was the best fighter, but having trouble moving forward.
Right.
Letting go. And not saying that in situations where there's depression or grief that you have to let go, but there is a medium where you learn to cope with that. Learn to find the moments, the memories that make you smile, that bring you joy, to outweigh those saddened moments, the loneliness that you feel on the day-to-day. So I really wanted to bring that to the forefront, because not only is May Mental Health Awareness Month, but I heard Polly in there ask him, like, is this a mental disturbance? And let's be real, when those emotions aren't dealt with, they lead to mental health crises, where now you are not only suffering from an emotional stress, but now you have a mental stress, and these things are piling up on each other, one after another. I yield the mic.
No, you're totally right. Mental stress, and you said it's mental.
It's mental awareness.
Mental awareness month. I mean, it should be mental awareness year, every day.
Yeah, we should constantly be doing like check-ins. That's one reason why I like to start off and be like, how are you doing today? Like, how many times do we take the time to ask our spouses that? I know we see them every day for some of us, but how many times at the end of the day do I take the time to check in with you? And we can get so used to responding out of, I guess, tradition, or just saying, I'm fine, I'm well, good, but I know for me, there's been times in my life where I've tried to bottle up emotions. I've tried to hide them. I've tried to be a person that smiled, and I tried to, as Rocky talks about, it's a beast within. Like, I feel like at times I can't breathe. And really, if you think about it, that beast is just simply the pressure to continue to show up with a smile on my face, like everything is all good, when inwardly I'm struggling. And I felt like that recently when we were going through the process with Justice, especially after she was born, trying to tuck those emotions away. Oh, and definitely when I was actually pregnant, because I didn't want any stresses to come forth and get in the way of her health and her well-being. So the best way that I could, dust that stuff off. And did I really let it go? It becomes a question that I had to ask myself. Like, did I let that situation go? Did I let that situation go?
Right.
And if I didn't, where did it go?
Right.
So if I didn't let it go, I felt like many times it was like Rocky. I just tucked it away in the basement. And what do? The basement is the thing that's underneath the surface, the thing that nobody sees. You don't invite people to your house and normally walk them through your unfinished basement first. They walk through the top part. Now, if you decide to invite them downstairs, that's another thing. But a lot of people use their basements as storage. I'm just tucking away stuff.
Right.
I don't want things to be seen down there.
Right. Oh, no, don't go down there. Don't go down there. Oh, no, hold on. I go get it. Go get it. Yeah.
So I thought about that in terms of my journey, my walk. How many times have I been dealing with this stuff in the basement that felt like a beast within, something that held me down, prevented me from being able to breathe, to be able to live. Because when I wasn't masking, and we talked about that in a recent episode of ours, when I wasn't masking my feelings, I'm going through this struggle, and depression and all that. That's real for some people, and like I said, it might be simple for some to get out and let go, but for others it becomes a challenge, and that's when I personally think it's okay to seek help.
I think that it would none of us would need to actually see a psychiatrist or do all these other things. We wouldn't have to worry about high blood pressure, seizures and strokes, and weight problem and issues if we would just address the situation right there.
And you've been big on that lately.
Right. That's the problem. That's where the beast is created. When something happens, you see it, you don't say nothing. Then how many times do you go home and you replay it in your mind over and over and over again? I should. You be like Trey and Boys in the Hood and just swinging punches in the air.
I remember that.
Because you had a chance to do something and you didn't.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can just be a gut feeling, intuition. Church folk will, blame it on the spirit. The spirit told me to do. Well, why didn't you say it? I don't know. I just that's what the Bible talks about, quenching the spirit. When you have that unction to say something, to do something, and you throw water on that fire instead of moving, because we're always trying to save face.
Yeah. We
always want to look good before people, and what good does that do? Especially when you have this monster growing inside of you.
Yeah.
Right? One of my favorite movies, and you say this month is mental health. Mm-hmm. One of my favorite movies pertaining to mental health is The Joker.
That was good.
Yeah. And you just seeing him being bullied, being stepped on. Kids were beating him up. He's a grown man. A gang of kids take his sign, beat him up in the alley, leave him out there. And guess what? He wants to do something, but he can't.
Yeah.
He's afraid to. He's afraid to fight. He's afraid to say something back. And how does he internalize those emotions? Is in the movie. He internalizes his emotions and his feelings by laughing at it. And ain't nothing funny. You laughing that off. You pretending like it's all good. And we do that.
And remember, his was a condition where I think if he wanted to like cry or any kind of other emotion, instead a response would be a laugh.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But all that, it was done because of him being afraid to address the problem. And one day he snapped.
Yeah.
And he took it. A society would say he took it too far. No, you don't try to say he took it too far now, because his response to what you guys have been doing to him, it wasn't the response that you felt as if he it wasn't done the way you felt as if he should do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. And how many jokers have we created? How many jokers has this society, has this world? How many jokers have America created? Tupac was talking about this in the mid 90s. Thug life, the hate you give little infants. The hate you give. We've created these thugs. We've created them. And so now we want to say, we want to diagnose them. We want to give them medication. We want to we're good at this, classifying. Put you in a category. They're over here. This group of people. But this is what society has made. This is what we have created. Now, I noticed that, you can see this at work, being done at work. I noticed you come in, you just do you seen people come to work, they just do their work, boom, 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 they don't fool with nobody, they don't hardly talk to nobody, and they go on, and everybody around them on that team, on that block, in that cubicle, in that corner over there, they're like, oh, this is so-and-so, so-and-so. Now, she's a great person. And then you have Andy back there. He's because he doesn't participate.
Socialize.
He's not social. Why is that? Because something has happened. Maybe the work environment, his working environment. Maybe he's just experienced so much hurt in these working environments. He vowed that, hey, this next job I get, I ain't getting involved in any of that. And he's sticking to it. You see his sister, man, she fine. Hey, pretty lady, how you doing? You trying to get you a little holler. Hey, pretty lady. Sweet face. Hey, baby. And she look at you and she give you that. You're like, damn. I mean, you fine, but you ain't no Megan Good, You ain't
I'm thinking, well, why you trying to holler?
Yeah, they're like, what's wrong with her? But you don't know, man. She the same. It was a joker. It was a joker just like you that did her the same. The way you flagging her down, you just sending off red flags right there. She ain't got time.
Yeah.
She doesn't have time. Yeah, she's beautiful, but she just doesn't, she just doesn't want to, be bothered. All because, so society, we people, people got to be careful. People have to be careful. I was somewhere and a fight broke out. And all I heard was, what's good? and they just went at it. I don't know what happened, but I just heard what was good. Now maybe they could have had an arrangement like, yo, if I see you, it's going down,
Yeah.
But it was just awkward for me, and so in my mind, I'm thinking like, man, you never know what the next person has on their mind, what they're going through,
Exactly.
It could just be. I saw something on the news. A woman with road rage. She got upset. Someone was driving slow, and she just pulled up aside and start letting it go.
And we're not saying that those things are right.
No, it pressure bust pipes. That's what that is. That's them trying to function while in the midst of dysfunction. That's what happens when there are certain things that you haven't let go, or there are certain people or environments that you haven't removed yourself from. I've said this a long time ago. This is a minute ago, but I know when I begin to talk about it, you're gonna remember it. If you continue to tolerate a particular atmosphere, eventually it will become a consistent climate.
Yeah.
If it's cold and the host of the house is refusing to turn the air down, if I don't have a jacket in the car, I'm going to leave.
Mm-hmm.
But there are people who will sit there because of whoever the host is, whatever they have over their heads, whatever they have on them, whatever control they have, whatever. There are certain people who will sit in there knowing it's cold, knowing they don't have a jacket in the car, nose running,
Yeah.
sneezing, blowing your nose, doing that. You rub take your hand and rub it up your nose like that.
Go wash your hands. That's what I'm saying. Go wash your hands now.
The environment is making you sick. Why are you still here? Because of a paycheck? Why are you still here? Because he was your first? Why are you still here? Because you have a baby by him and you don't want to have multiple baby daddies?
Yeah.
So you're gonna continue to tolerate this particular climate, all because you don't want to redo. I'm gonna tell you, I don't. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm just, when you said all because you don't want to redo, I thought about how it's a perspective thing. It's all about how you look at that redo. For some, they look at it as a ending to something, and others look at it as
the beginning of something.
Exactly. And if we can just get to that place in letting go, like if I got this far, if I did this once, if I at least was able to experience the joy in it, then I can get there again.
Mm-hmm.
I can have that again.
Mm-hmm.
I can feel valuable again. I don't have to shoulder all this pressure. I don't have to, in Erykah Badu's terms, drag all of these bags.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, we do that to ourselves.
We do.
We put that pressure on ourselves, and ultimately, who are we doing it for? Are you are you doing it for the validation and for the encouraging words and the praise, hand claps of praise from others, or are you
the water?
Or are you doing it for yourself? What are you doing it for? What's the why? So letting go, it is scary at times. Thinking about, especially if you've worked so hard and built so much, and now you're at a place where you're about to let it all go. Those emotions are valid. You're not wrong for feeling those things. We're humans. Those emotions are within us, but then we also have to power over those emotions where I can move forward in spite of.
Right.
Because of what I'm expecting on the other side of this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I totally agree. You have to, first of all, know the value that you possess and know that the reason why we are of value is because of the work of the craftsman. We talked about this before, the craftsman.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's in Ephesians 2:10 that we are his workmanship, created unto good works. Right? So we are of value because of the hands of the workman,
Yeah.
the craftsman, the one who has created us. And when we tie ourselves down to things, places, and people, we're actually devaluing ourselves, because wherever I go, wherever you go, and the listeners, wherever you go, you bring value to that atmosphere.
Right.
If you see yourself
Right.
that way, you bring value. If I'm a part of this, everybody needs to be a part of it, because this is a good thing, and I believe in it.
Right.
I believe in it, and so when you refuse, when you're at a place where you just refuse to let go, I'm going to continue to hold on to it. I want to. God has charged me to fight, and I'm not even gonna go there. But anyway, because I believe that the ones, just because we've been around them, like
Yeah.
the ones that continue to hold on to places and things are church folk.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, but
And if
but
you've
they're
been
not.
there, you know about it.
They're not the only ones that do it.
Right.
You don't have to go to church to do it. But I'm saying we see that more so in the church versus in the world. Like the people in the world, they can lose a job, they can lose this, they can lose that, and bounce back and have more.
Mm-hmm.
But inside, like the people in the church, you have a book that you read that lets you know that all things work together for the good, for them that love the Lord. I mean, you read this. We hear this on Sunday. We hear the same thing. You hear the same scriptures on Sunday. You hear the same scriptures on Bible study. It's the same thing. But yet, they're the ones that fail to move or to walk in faith. So my man here in Billions, who was saying we're gonna hold on to it, it was more so like I took it as we're gonna hold on to it because one day I believe things are gonna change.
Yeah. It's going to turn around.
It's gonna turn around.
Mm-hmm.
But she took it as I'm gonna let it go right now, because I know that the minute I let it go, as soon as I let it go,
it's going to change.
it's going to change. You going to hold on to it for 20 and 30, 40, 50 years until it change. But I'm going to let it go today and watch it all change.
Right.
And so that's the mindset. That's where we need to be. Wise man told me, said, man, you can't hold on. You can't reach for the stars and still holding on to the ground.
Elaborate a little bit on that.
You gotta let something go.
Yeah.
I mean, I have the stars right here. The stars are high.
Yeah.
And that's where it is. We're all trying to go. We're trying to get higher. We're trying to get better. We're trying to go further. But I can't get higher. I can't get better. I can't go further when I'm holding on to people who just want to stay here on ground level. That's why a lot of families, check it out, a lot of families and friendships, they fall apart because those family members and those friends have a hard time adjusting to you wanting better, reaching for better, but yet having to remove yourself from them. And so they're like, oh, you think you better.
Yeah.
Dog, I can't get this sitting here with you.
That's right.
It's just not gonna, and you don't have any ambition. You're content with this. You're content with living here. I'm not. And then the minute you go off, the minute you go do your thing, and you don't call, you don't check in the way you ought to, you get this. And I know we've all heard, oh man, oh, I'm surprised I didn't think you had my number no more. Man,
Right.
I'm letting you go. I'm letting you go because that type of energy you don't need around you.
Right.
You want me to feel sorry for wanting more than you have. I'm not saying that what you have doesn't mean anything to me or it ain't nothing, or it's just that's what you want.
Right.
If we go to a restaurant and you only have, if we go to a restaurant and you order filet mignon, baked potato, asparagus, you know, you get a little water. You don't like lemons, so you get water, no lemon.
No ice, please.
But I'm saying let's go post-COVID, like we went out to eat, sitting down somewhere.
Okay.
Right. So we post-COVID, you out to eat, boom, you know. And, Long Island iced teas, top shelf. They're about $12, $13, $14 drink.
I never liked that drink, but go ahead.
Okay. Well, it's a good drink.
Give me a little wine.
You drunk? No, you drunk.
I know, it's like tea. Like, I don't know. I know it's with a little liquor, but
I've seen.
I didn't think I liked Long Island's.
You do.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why you got brand new because I said it on the air.
No,
anyway.
Yeah.
So you've gone out to eat and you got $13, $14 drink.
Mm-hmm.
And like 5 of us have it. Five of y'all are drinking it.
Yeah.
But I only have money for ultra light.
What's that? $4?
About 3.
3.
And they're like, oh, let us get 4 Long Islands. You ma'am, you sir, just bring me a ultra light. Yeah, I've been working out trying to watch my. Or it's more so like y'all need to be careful. Liquor that ain't like how much was that? 13. That's too much. I ain't spending $13 on it. And they try to make you feel bad. Number one, okay, it's too much calories. I need to be working out. I worked out and I done missed my workout with a drink. Go ultralight. The only reason why they have an ultralight is because they only have money for the ultralight, but they want you to feel condemned or bad about. I never spend that money. And how many times have we sat around? How many people have you heard say, "Oh, we sitting around and we hear about someone with money." Case in point, Michael Jordan bought a $1 million boat. Man, I never buy $1 million.
You don't got that money, does Of course you never buy.
Of course, we know you won't ever buy one. What time you go to work? You get ready to go to work in a minute. We know you're not gonna buy one.
Mm-hmm.
We know you're not gonna buy one.
But we say that because we haven't got to experience that.
Something happened to.
We say that because we haven't got to experience that for ourselves. And
Experience what?
Actually having that kind of
Right.
money to, like, since pandemic has hit, little insight into our lives that we don't go out to eat. So we don't mind spending a little more money on our meats, on our foods, and getting more high priced stuff because we're eating in. And so we rather be over there at the fresh meat department where they're cutting our meat than buying it where it's already packaged up.
Right.
And before, I wouldn't have thought about going over there. Like, we eat out too much. Like, I'm trying to save money somewhere.
Right.
But now that we've eliminated that expense to a certain extent, we now find the room to be able to
do other things.
Spend a little more over there.
Right.
So I think the same concept goes towards those people who are making 6+ figures a year. I've seen once on social media where somebody posted that they have $1,000 a month. This is just for a month. Out to eat budget.
Okay.
And it was so many comments on like, what? I would never spend that much. Like, but this is all, like, she doesn't buy groceries. This is all this girl does. And because of her job and how strenuous and how what's the word when they need you there a lot? What's the word that I'm looking for? High demanding. And when it's more of a high demanding job, I don't have time to be at home cooking. It's just me. So I spend my money out. So it to each their own.
Right.
So we can't necessarily say what we would do or what we wouldn't do if we had the money to do it.
And it goes back to what we're talking about, the topic today. You know, there are certain things that she has to let go. She has to sacrifice.
Yeah.
Right. So, she has to let go cooking, let go, being at home and, feeding herself. So she spends money.
Yeah.
And you can't project what you don't have or what you would like to have or match it up to what someone else is going through. It's just something that we just all have to overcome and be mindful of. I believe if we just learn how to just mind our own business.
Yeah. Mind your own
just
business.
Mind your
Drink
own
your
business.
water.
Do what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Do what you do.
So overall, I mean, we've taken concepts from movies, songs to drive home the entire point of letting go. There are benefits in letting go. And what we want to leave with you all today, everyone who's listening, that start with yourself. Start with begin with addressing what has been lingering in your basement. What has been growing underneath the surface. And from there, you can then decide what is worth keeping and what is worth letting go. Choose well. All right, you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Led from the Heart. You have just listened to our episode 3. Listen, we want to know what you guys think. You can email us at hello@ledfromtheheart.org. You can leave a review right here on this platform. We are calling for you, and you, all of you. Listen, all 12 of our listeners today. All of you to go and subscribe. Subscribe not only to our podcast, but we want you to head over to our website, www.ledfromtheheart.org, and subscribe there to our newsletter. Listen, you are tuned in to your favorite podcast. That's the least you could do with your favorite hosts, James and Jessica. And you are now charged with the responsibility to help us serve. And it's simple. You can start now, and you can start right where you are by doing those things that I mentioned. And then also stay in tune for our newsletters, as we mentioned, upcoming giveaways, upcoming events that we have planned. It's all about a numbers game. I've said it in each episode thus far. So the more you like, the more you share, the more extensive our reach becomes. This is all about being led from the heart. It's all about discussing issues and heart matters, things that are on our heart that are seldomly talked about amongst maybe your friends, your family. It doesn't matter, but we're here to talk about it here. So pull up on us for our next episode. That's going to be next Saturday at 11 a.m. And remember, do it from the heart or not at all.